All right, there we go. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff. So excited to do this, man. Shaun, how are we doing today, man? Do you have any fun weekend plans coming up or anything for the for the
Man,
holiday?
how's it going, brother? How's it going, man? I'm super excited to be here. Super excited to share with the audience. This weekend I'll be headed to a gun show, so I'm a gun enthusiast. I'm excited for that.
There you go. There you go. Where is that?
It's here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, in the Atlanta
Okay,
metro
cool.
area. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, we'll be out camping all weekend as well with the kids. So ironically, there we go. But
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
there we go. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they love outdoors time, man. It's fun. My wife grew up like going to national parks and hiking and all of that. So we're big fans of spending time outside. So
I love it, man. I'm a
yeah,
big outdoorsman myself, so I love hearing that.
there we go. Fantastic. So everybody, welcome in. Excited to have everybody here today. Again, start jumping in the chat. Say where you're based out of. Would love to know that. Would love to know where you're at in your real estate investing journey. So if you're working on that first deal, you're greener to this, you're just getting started, or if you've done 100 deals, that's great. Wherever you are in kind of that real estate investing journey, would love to know that here in the chat for you guys too, and it'll help us kind of continue to tailor what we share today to fit where you're at in your journey. So today, super excited to have on Shaun Young here. He's a good friend. We've been how long have you known DealMachine?
Man, it's been about at least 3 or 4 years now, man.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'd say we've known each other for that long, and I think you knew David even before that. So
Indeed.
Yeah. So Shaun's been a longtime friend of DealMachine. Excited to have you on for today. Really, the format for this is, again, I've got a ton of great questions to kind of have you share as much of your knowledge with our audience as you can. But I want to give everyone here that's watching a great opportunity to use Shaun's time here, to be able to come in. And Shaun has been so gracious with us today, this morning, giving us his time. He's literally done hundreds of deals, helped others do hundreds of deals. So he has a ton, just a wealth of knowledge that you guys can tap into here. So you've got a great opportunity. Please jump in and ask questions. Don't be shy. So it's really kind of an ask me anything session with Shaun for the audience, as in addition to my questions and introduction of them. And we'll have a great time here this morning. So Shaun, does that sound like a good agenda for today?
Man, that sounds like an awesome plan. Let's do it, guys. And don't be shy. Ask those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Deetra, love that. You're in Virginia trying to close that first deal. Hey, here to help. I think a lot of what Shaun can share. I mean, you've helped so many students close their first deal, so you've got a ton of knowledge to be able to share there as well. Deetra said she wants to use DealMachine with max efficiency. Yeah, I'm here to help on that front. So if you have specific DealMachine questions, there we go. What's the best way when adding properties? I can show you guys that here a little bit myself as well. So I'll go through that too. Deetra, I'll introduce Shaun and have him get going to start off with, and then I'm happy to dig into questions from everybody here in just a minute. So, Shaun, just a quick intro for everybody on here, and I'll try to repeat this a couple times so that way as new people join, they can hear more about your background and know just great questions to ask you. But Shaun, you're been an investor since 2016, so what, 8+ years now. Wholesaled hundreds of houses, like I mentioned, and has used creative finance and other strategies to really create financial and time freedom for himself and for his family. He's the author of Adventures in Wholesaling. Let me show you how. You're the host of the Nationwide Real Estate Mastery podcast. So I'll make sure we link to that stuff as well below. And then today, I know you do just a great job of helping your students find that first or next deal, and also operate a virtual assistant company, REI World Solutions. So you've got a lot going on. You're a great go-giver. You're somebody who, again, anytime we have you on, you're willing to kind of share with the audience and just be super transparent with them. So always appreciate your time, man. And I'd love to start off with you telling us a little bit more than what I just read about your background and more about your story and how you got into this.
Sure. Real quick, guys, because I know you're here to learn, right? So let me real quick give you a background about myself, guys. I was in your position about 10 years ago. The reason why it says 2016 is when I got started is because it took me like a year and a half before I actually took any action. I come from corporate America. I was in the top of my field with sales for about 10, 12 years, top 3% with sales. My company was based in Sweden. They changed the CEO here in North America. And that new CEO decided that he wanted a whole new sales staff, a whole new project manager team and everything. So 750 of us were out of a job just like that. Boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. So I took my severance, my severance package, and I said, hey, listen, I don't ever want to be in this position again where I could be, a top performer and, lose my livelihood, my way of, taking care of myself and my family. So I looked into real estate. I heard that, real estate was a great way to find financial freedom. All the things that David just mentioned that I've been able to find for myself since getting into this industry. Those were the things that I was looking for, but I didn't have a clue on really how to go about it. I just knew that, I wanted to be in real estate. So I went to a seminar, went to a hotel, spent 1 hour, listened to a guy talk. They ushered us to the back of the room, said, hey, whip out those credit cards, give us $30,000. We'll teach you how to do this stuff. And that's just what I did. And that's why I say, guys, for a whole year and a half, either I thought I was the dumbest person trying to do this real estate stuff, or this just wasn't for me, because I didn't get any traction at all. And I gave myself 30 more days. I said, if I can't make something happen in 30 days, I've got to go back and get a job. So I gave myself 30 days. And within 2 weeks of those, 30 days, I made 8, I went through a small course. I made 8 phone calls. 6 didn't answer. The 7th was a realtor. And then the 7th was a deal that yielded me $78,000. And I hadn't looked back since.
Wow, man, that's great. I love to hear, you coming from it again with that day job. I think a lot of people can relate to that, of having the 9 to 5, that especially if you're in a corporate role, you can be treated as like just a number, and
right.
Be able to come in and really take control of that yourself and build your own freedom like that. That's awesome, man. I love that. So, yeah, can you tell me more? Well, I have a ton of questions to begin with, but tell me more. I know you mentioned you were the top of your field in sales. That's one skill that I think in general, no matter what industry you're in, if you're the better and better you are at sales, like you're going to be able to sell yourself, sell your vision, sell your team, whatever your role, having great sales skills can translate. And just being great at communication, again, can translate in so many different ways. Can you tell us more about what lessons you learned being a top salesperson that then rolled over into real estate? Like, I'd love to hear kind of maybe a little bit of your kind of sales playbook here, if that's okay for our audience, just to start off.
Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. Sales is crucial. And the first step of sales is communication, whether that's verbal, or written. So, being good at being a good communicator, being able to listen with those 2 ears that we've got, and, speaking with that one mouth, put it in that ratio, you'll actually learn a lot. So I went out there, I learned a lot, how to communicate, how to dig deep, how to uncover people's pains, how to speak towards those pains, how to show that I could be a solution to some of those problems and pain points. Those are some of the lessons that you learn in sales. But as you go about it, as you go on, you develop, your personality actually starts to come out. And like Matt said, you start to feel like, hey, I could pretty much sell anything that I believe in or have a passion for, because of my way that I'm going to deliver it. And that's how you guys want to approach it. You don't want to say, you know what, I like the way that guy Shaun talks. If I can't do it like him, that's why I'm not succeeding. No, it's your personality. It's your personality that you inject into the sales process, which is super basic, that makes you success, or that will differentiate you from others that are trying to do the exact same thing. Words are hard sometimes, guys. Forgive me.
Bright and early on a Friday. We got you, man. Yeah, I love that. It's great seeing the feedback's already starting to roll in on the comments here. So again, jump in the chat, say where you're based out of. Say where you are at in your real estate investing journey. That helps us continue to tailor questions to fit what would be most valuable for you guys. Again, and this is really kind of an AMA session as well. So I want you to have a chance to come in and ask Shaun anything here. Deetra came, let me answer a couple of her questions here. She'd said, hey, wow, I'd like to have a similar testimony. You said, let's see here, want to maximize, in Virginia, trying to close your first deal, want to use DealMachine to maximize, or want to use DealMachine with max efficiency rather. So Deetra, you mentioned you're an Uber driver. You're spending a long time writing down properties and compiling, and you want to compile them to skip and call them. Inside DealMachine there, a couple things. One, I want to make sure everyone has this resource. Ryan Hewitt goes live every 4 days a week, almost every single weekday. He's got his next session at 2 p.m. Eastern time today, but it's just this DealMachine.com/office-hours. Bookmark that, everybody that's watching this here. Phenomenal sessions where he comes on. really kind of goes through on a Google Meet call any kind of question that you can have around DealMachine and shows you best practices. And you can come with very specific questions like Dietrich was saying here. I know that's really kind of the best format to really dig in step by step how to use DealMachine this way. Really, I think Dietrich, for you specifically, going in and learning a couple of the best practices around how to drive for dollars using the mobile app, and then how to be able to take that and jump in and use our AI-powered dialer that we just launched. The skip tracing actually is completely included in DealMachine free. That's something we launched at the end of last year, just changing the industry of how you think about data, how you pay for data. That's included with every single lead you add. So if you're already out driving for Uber, like especially in between drives and things like that, and you're identifying these houses that are in bad shape, that they're fixer-uppers, that is just an awesome opportunity to be able to take out the mobile app, have it lock onto your location, tap on that property, just hit add lead, and while you're in the field, don't do anything else, just add that lead. And then at the end of your shift there, at the end of you driving around, when you're back at home, jump on and you will have the phone number included already with that lead that you added. You'll have the dialer one click away from pressing the call button to be able to go and use that as well. And you'll be able to make outbound phone calls right from one click away. So definitely recommend jumping in those office hours if you want to see a screen share of exactly what that looks like. Ryan goes through, again, usually small groups on there, 20 plus people sometimes. So even if you don't have a specific DealMachine question, these office hours are fantastic. I guarantee you'll learn something from somebody asking a question there. So highly recommend you guys bookmarking that link. And I just wanted to share that. It's kind of, Shaun, not to derail, the conversation.
No, great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, wanted to make sure you've got that there. So awesome, cool. Dietrich, I'm glad that helped. Jump on with Ryan. Again, always here to help guys. So any DealMachine related questions, I'm happy to take as well. But Shaun, again, appreciate you kind of sharing your background, your story, more about how you took your sales job and took a little bit of time. It took a year and a half, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, it's like you gotta lead with action. You gotta learn by doing. It takes time to go get over that hump, but the more reps you get in, if you take the right actions over and over and over, that's where you're gonna get closer to your first deal, your next deal. So that's awesome to hear. With that background and applying those sales lessons, can you tell us more about that journey of going from you, like you mentioned, you lost your job, you were figuring out what to do next, you had the ability to go through that, but what were kind of the lessons you learned along the way that really got you from that being stuck and buying a really expensive course to hey, now I've got an actual deal eventually through this whole process?
Guys, it was strictly a mental process. I had to really mindset. You'll hear this a lot in our industry, that you've got to work on your mindset. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, that is exactly what I had to do. I had to work on my mindset first, because my mindset was like, hey, this is going to be easy. Give me a list. I'll call on it. I'll use my normal sales processes and it'll be a breeze, right? That's not how it worked. Again, I told you guys, after a year and a half of me trying to do this, I made 8 phone calls and got a $78,000 deal. Well, that could be a good thing and a bad thing for some. For me, it was kind of a good and a bad thing. The reason being is because within 30 more days, I had 11 deals under contract, and I ended up closing on 7 of those deals. However, if you know about a lot of salespeople from corporate America, you rarely find anyone who's really good at sales and they're super organized as well. Either they're super organized or they're really good salespeople. I know it's a cliche. You can find people who are good at both, but I wasn't one of those people. I focused highly on sales and making that happen. And with our industry, you've got to be able to track things. You've got to have follow-up. So like the tools that are in DealMachine, like the skip tracing, the ability to do everything in a one contained environment is super important. I didn't have that when I first got started. I was, trying to pull things here. I was writing stuff down on a postcard there. I was all over the place. So being able to fail my way forward, using those basic sales skills, but learning that I needed to become organized and having tools like DealMachine to help me become organized was the differentiator in helping me become successful in this industry.
That's awesome, man. And I think, you put some urgency to it as well. Like that's one thing we really try to help with people. And we do a lot of like challenges and things like that, where we really try to help you again, lead with action and make it a very focused effort where it's, hey, let's take, and I fall in this bucket as well. As I listened to Bigger Pockets. I listened to all these podcasts. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I did all this education, which is fantastic. Like, you should continue to learn and continue to go to things like this and be inspired and get excited and be able to keep getting better. But it wasn't until I practice what we preach and use DealMachine or use something to do the right actions was it that I got really steps closer to doing a deal. And the right actions on our end, really was, hey, how do you identify properties that are opportunities, and how do you reach out to those sellers and have conversations about those properties? Right. Those two things, a lot of the times, at least for me, what I found is it's fantastic to have a mentor or a network or a coach or somebody to fall back on and have as this support system through the journey. But you being able to lead with action and putting yourself into those situations to begin with is the real first step. Is you don't even necessarily know what you don't know yet. Like, you need to get out there and start talking to those sellers and start to identify these opportunities where you can really go through and, like you said, make a call and ask them around, well, yeah, if they're interested to sell, but then dig in more around, well, hey, what is, why are they looking to sell? Ask more around their motivation of looking to sell. Do they have a problem you can solve for them? Do they want to move quickly and easily and conveniently and as is, and maybe don't want to pay realtor commissions, and whatever the pain point is you can solve for them. It takes you asking these open-ended questions and really listening to them to come to that. Ask around the timeline. How soon are they looking to sell? Is this an urgent problem, or is this a maybe someday I'd like to sell? Ask around the condition of the property. You really get to dig in with them around the property itself, and then we always
motivation. Why?
Exactly. And once you've got all that nailed down, that final piece is price. And a lot of times people will jump to that right away. Always try to, we recommend saying, hey, would love to come to a price that works for both of us, but I need to learn more about the property before I give you a price, and kind of hold off on that. And a lot of times, if you do a great job of solving their problem and these other things, the price may not even be the most important thing. That may be them solving that other problem, right? So, wanted to give you guys a general framework of what we see work. But Shaun, do you have any advice beyond that as well? Of does that sound about right? Of your
I definitely want to piggyback off of what you said, man. Those are great points. You spoke about the 4 pillars of pre-qualification, guys. What is the motivation, price, timeline, condition of the property? Those are all the things that we're trying to uncover in a call. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a particular order. So don't get hung up on trying to follow a script. You really, on that first conversation, when you're speaking with the seller and you've already kind of established they want to sell their property, you really want to talk about that person. You want to find out as much as you can about their circumstances and their situation. Why are they even wanting to sell? Remember, one of the pillars of pre-qualification. Why do you want to sell, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller? When you need to sell by next week. Why? What's going on? Tell me more. Man, what happened? Oh my God, that's terrible. Actually be someone who's attentive to being a good listener. Listen to what they're telling you, guys. People want to be listened to. They want to hear themselves kind of talk. And you need to open up the doorway for that as much as possible. Let them tell you as much as they can about the circumstances and the situation, so that you can use your skills to be the best problem solver that you can. Go at this at being a problem solver, not a deal finder. Yes, this is DealMachine, and we're going to find deals, but you need to be a great problem solver so that the machine can do its part.
There we go. That's a great mindset shift. And I love to hear that you did that with calling. I know in general, again, taking the right actions over and over again, the right actions are where you can really, continue to give yourself a chance to do that first deal. One goal that I love to set ourselves is, if we hold ourselves accountable and say, okay, I'm going to take the right actions. I'm going to build a list, which it's awesome to see Deidre doing that while driving Uber. She's cracking me up in the comments here. She said, "Stop talking about me, Shaun." So that's step one, is building that list, and then reaching out to that list of leads. I love setting the goal of, hey, I want to try to get 50 no's today, or 20 no's today, and going with the goal of just getting yourself so that way if you get a no, if you get a hey, take me off your list, or hey, I'm not interested, or anything like that, that it's still a win in your book. You're still wanting to work toward getting to that yes, right? But the end goal here we go. We'll add Shaun back to the stage. There we go. All good. The end goal here is getting to that yes eventually, but every no you get along the way is an additional rep that you've done and gotten better and better and better. And every no statistically is going to end up, working you toward getting that first yes. So I love that goal setting mindset. Again, we've had quite a few new people jump in here and join us. Feel free to jump in the chat. Please say where you're based out of. Please let us know where you're at in your real estate investing journey. That's super helpful for us to know, to make sure everything that we're tailoring this conversation to really fits, fits where you're at, what Shaun can speak to most. That'll help you out most. Quick little background on Shaun for the new people. Shaun, and I'll repeat these a couple times today, but just to give everybody that background and know what questions to ask him. Been a real estate investor the last 8+ years. Told his story about how it took him that year and a half to do that first deal, but has done hundreds of deals since then. He's helped his students do that as well. He's an author and host of his podcast, the nationwide Real Estate Mastery podcast. And then in addition to helping students, he also has a virtual assistant company. So I'll dig into how to use a virtual assistant as well. But ask him anything around those questions. I'm here to help, guys. So let's see.
Here to help. Shoot them out there.
Go ahead, man. We're getting some good questions now. You said, how do you stay out of the friend zone or moving from because you make the seller feel too comfortable? That was a struggle too. So yeah, how do you kind of balance that? How do you build that relationship with the seller like that?
Man, that's a great question. It's a dance, brother. It is a dance. It's you're going to get it right sometimes, and sometimes you're going to step on toes. But you want to stick to the foundation of the dance, which is be authentic with wanting to discover what their problems are. As long as you're doing that, you can always redirect where you're trying to lead them by being an authority who is an advisor. So, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you told me this. I know you told me that. Hey, listen, we got to get you moved out of that property. It's a horrible situation. This is what's going on. This is what you've told me. I mean, if we don't get you out of there, you're telling me that this is what you're going to be dealing with for the next so and so and so and so. So you really, the turning from friend to advisor, so to speak, you're always advising. You want to always be that authority from the very beginning, so that when you are making recommendations, it's not so much of a, hey, now I've got to put on a different hat. No, the entire time you were that authority who is an advisor. So keep that in mind when you're approaching it. Don't be afraid to ask for the sale. Don't put yourself in the position of, well, man, I think that's a little too low to ask for a property. Don't worry about what you would think. You've got to just focus on the circumstances at hand.
Yeah, and I think you do a great job, and we can dig into creative, strategies as well. But
right.
You do a great job of giving multiple offers as well, and helping people in that sense as in addition to that too. But a lot of it takes reps like that. A lot of it takes you getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right? And then the old sales cliche too is people do business with that they like, know, and trust. So it is extremely important to build that relationship and them like you, but also in addition to that, you taking that advisor role and building that trust where they see you as the expert in the situation. Demonstrate that throughout the sales process,
right.
And a much better chance of staying out of the complete friend zone, like you said there.
Right.
Great. I have some great questions rolling in, if that's okay here.
And while you're looking up for those questions, I just want to throw something out there really quickly, guys. When you're on the phone with these guys, I know a lot of people avoid the phone. It's painful to a lot of people, right? But understand this, guys, if you're not going to jump on those conversations, like when you go out and drive for dollars, right? Someone calls you back off of a postcard, or someone that you call, you skip trace them, you call them, they answer the phone. Are you going to freeze up and hang up? No, you've got to be willing to fail your way forward, so to speak. So Matt spoke about it earlier. He said the more reps that you get, the more that this is going to be just like waking up and putting on brushing your teeth in the morning. It's going to become so natural for you that it's not painful at all. And that's really going to be the turning point for you, because when you can do it without it being a pain, you'll do more and more of it. And this is a numbers game. The more opportunity that you have to be in front of people and to speak with people, the more opportunity that you'll have to close deals.
It's a great perspective. Fantastic. Let's see here. We've got some really good questions coming in. Keep throwing questions in the chat here. Again, guys, feel free to introduce yourself, say where you're based out of. You're right about that mindset shift there, Shaun, too. It's I think from a calling perspective as well, that's really the philosophy we take to DealMachine. Like I know, if anyone has used the dialer already, I'd love to know, but we launched our AI powered dialer on July 1st this year. So it's only been out for, less than 2 months. And it's literally, you go into DealMachine, you click the call button, and it's ready to go. There's skip tracing included in DealMachine, so you have the contact info already included for the lead that you added right there. You don't have to set up anything else. You literally hit that call button and go. And the whole point of that is, like you said, you want to get the reps in. Our goal was to help remove every single barrier that could be in front of you, of you having to set up this and then that and pay for this and learn that and find the number and do all that before you make a call, which is what you actually need to be doing. So we want to just give you that one click button right there. And we have a lot of AI elements built into it to help give you real-time guidance on that call and real-time suggestions on where to take the call. So that way you're more confident. You can at least continue that conversation and, like you said, fail your way forward by putting in the reps. And then outside of all that too, like just make it so that it's less intimidating and honestly more fun. Like we've gotten that feedback from people saying, hey, I was definitely afraid of making calls, of just staring at my phone and dialing numbers, but clicking that button and going through this whole thing and like having the AI assist me, that's actually pretty fun. It really does almost kind of feel like a little bit of a game there. So we try to make it an enjoyable process as much as it can be, in addition to making it easy for you. So.
Hey, Matt, can you dive a little bit deeper into the dialer for folks? I think that's important. A lot of people hear about a dialer and, there's different dialer tools out there. And they from the traditional perspective, when you hear dialer, you're thinking like you'll have to sit at your computer, put on a headset and let the calls flow through. But you're saying with AI, it's a little bit different. Can you expound on that?
Yeah. And then Henry and Ruben, great questions here too. We'll make sure to get to that after this as well too. But on the dialer front, Shaun, appreciate you teeing us up there. I know on my end, we're always, again, trying to improve, trying to listen to you guys, trying to understand, hey, what can we continue to build in DealMachine that solves that next problem or adds more value to you and just keeps it easy for you to stay in one place and just get it, do deals. And so that next evolution was that dialer, was, us hearing your guys' feedback of, when we launched the skip tracing at the end of last year. Again, unlimited free contact information with every lead you add in DealMachine, so you don't need to skip trace anymore. You don't need to pay for that anymore. We added that last year, got awesome feedback from people, and the natural next step was them saying, "Great, I have all these phone numbers. How do I actually act on them? How do I start? Do I need to buy something else and like download all these numbers and upload them there and pay for that and learn this whole new software and set that up?" And so we wanted to make it easy for people. Now in your DealMachine subscriptions included that dialer, where you just see a little call button right there. You click call. What's going to happen is it pops open, it'll call that individual, call that lead, but it pops open the dialer interface right there, where it'll do things like, here's the AI elements. It'll do things like transcribe the call in real time for you. So it'll say, here's what Shaun's saying. Here's what Matt's saying. Here's what Shaun's saying. It'll also, there's a little button down there that's our AI assistant built into DealMachine, Alma. If you ever hear us refer to Alma, that button says, what do I say next? And that is where it will analyze where you're at in the conversation. It's doing kind of this real-time sentiment analysis and understanding the context of the situation. It's taking in our prompting and our data to kind of inform this decision or these suggestions from the AI. And then when you click that button, it'll pop up and say, hey, maybe ask this, or maybe ask about the property condition, maybe ask about why they're looking to sell, maybe ask about their timeline. Like, it gives you suggestions on where to take that call in real time to really give you that confidence and help you overcome every barrier that you're dealing with there. So, we want to give you that kind of super productivity tool built into DealMachine. You've got that one little click right there. You also can, if you have a script that you love, you can upload it into DealMachine and it'll use that script as part of the prompting to be able to make suggestions based on that script too. Which, Shaun, I know, I believe, do you provide scripts to the students? I can't remember what all you do.
Yeah. We provide calling scripts, absolutely. But of course, you never want to stick rigidly to a script, but it's a guideline. Yep.
And really, it's a suggestion in the call too. Right. Like, I wouldn't, always read word for word what AI is telling you to read, right? But it's a great kind of additional perspective to help you continue to advance the conversation and get the right information on that deal. Does all of that. And then it even has another crazy thing. If you want to enhance your productivity and make more calls, we have an AI voicemail drop. So you can opt in, create an AI voice clone of your voice that is for the voicemails. And when you click drop voicemail, it will then use your voice, read the seller name, the right property address, the right callback number. All of that is set up, ready to go with one click of a button. So that way you're not spending half your time leaving voicemails. You're literally able to make twice the number of calls because you just click a button and then call the next person. So again, we're just trying to enhance productivity as much as possible using Alma. There we go. Come through, Alma girl. I love that.
Come through, Alma. Yeah, man. It sounds like you are definitely putting it out there so you can't fail almost. I mean, this is all up to you guys. I'm being 100% transparent with you guys. This is a phenomenal tool. The stuff that I'm learning about the new DealMachine features are phenomenal. Of course, DealMachine has gotten me plenty of deals in the past, but with the new features, I can see how our team is going to maximize this even more. So guys, jump all over this, get into the system, play around with it, make things happen. Without making things happen, there's nothing that's going to happen. So get out there and do it.
That, man. And you're right. It's a numbers game too. So it's
right.
Set that goal of how many no's you can get to. And that way, that's my advice here, Ruben, on how to keep a positive attitude after so much rejection. Sales are not easy. It's something where it's straightforward. We can teach you guys what to do, but it takes your determination to go out there and do it. And so having these mindset shifts of how you can, again, try to get to a certain number of no's for the day, a certain number of this or that for the day, and hold yourself accountable to that goes a really long way. But Shaun, what's your advice here? Because I know you were going through a year and a half of trying to deal, right? So,
man, Ruben, you are where a lot of people are right now, whether they admit it or not. And even as you advance in your career, you can still find yourself in a frustrated predicament, right? If you approach it the wrong way, you have to control your mind. Matt has said it. He's mentioned it multiple times. You've got to approach it a different way. You got to say, man, I've gotten 10 no's today. Yes. Let me make another call. Hopefully I get 10 more, because that's just getting me closer to a yes. The more no's you get, the closer you're going to get to a yes. Prepare yourself for reality, guys. 95% of people out here who want to sell or buy a house, they're going to do it the traditional route, using a listing agent, all those type of, traditional things, right? The way that we are going about buying houses or obtaining properties or getting them under contract is totally unique for most people. So keep that in mind. 5% to 6% of the people out here are actually who our candidates are for us to be able to help. So don't beat yourself up. Just know that you got to get to those people. You just got to get away from who's not your candidate and get to the people who are. And you can only do that through repetition.
Yep. And you can get lucky. We've had people, again, we had one guy down in San Antonio, Quentin. He was on our YouTube channel. We literally recorded him as the fourth call he made. This was a couple of years ago. The fourth call he made from a DealMachine lead. He did a deal. It can happen. You can get lucky there, but we want you to have that mindset of going out there and say, that every day I'm going to reach X number of leads. And we're not saying mail it in. Like, you got to put in good reps, right? Like, that no immediately isn't it's only super valuable when you're actually approaching it the right way. Right. But with this kind of mindset, with this kind of framework of coming in and like Shaun said, not being a deal finder per se, but a problem solver, coming in with that and really putting in your best effort to really care about that individual and how to help them. And being genuine about that, like, all of that is kind of the best setup to get in the best reps. And when you do that over time, like you said, like Shaun mentioned, you're going to get better and better at this. And then eventually it's just like brushing your teeth and you're used to it. So,
yeah, Ruben, you got to be very realistic as well. Don't focus on the end goal, which is getting a deal. Of course, you're like, what do you mean? That's what everyone wants, is the deal. You will get the deal if you are consistent with the processes. Be consistent. The consistency will create the momentum. The momentum will create the results that you're looking for, which is a deal. So think of it that way. Just go out there and be consistent. Use the tools each and every day. Follow up all the time, and you're going to get the results. Promise you.
There we go.
And like Matt said, you can get it the first week, or it may take you a couple of months, but you got to stick with the process.
Yeah. I was going to say it's a journey there, and hopefully we can help you guys continue to accelerate that journey here. So, talking about that process, Henry jumped in and said, "Hey, what advice do you have on someone hunting that first deal? So crucial steps to fill up the pipeline and be consistent." So, Shaun, you want to break that down first? I'm happy to give the DealMachine perspective, but as Ruben said, thanks for the advice. Let's get it. There we go.
Let's get it. Let's get it, man.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so you have advice on kind of filling up that pipeline and starting to get consistent with these deals. So,
right. I'll let you start off with that because there's a number of ways I could go with that, but let's go the DealMachine route and let's go from that perspective.
I was going to say, I know we live in that world. That's
right.
Really, in general, if anything, if you guys aren't as familiar with the app itself, we're really a lead gen tool and marketing tool. So I would say in terms of filling up that pipeline here, Henry, it depends on kind of where you're at in your really just what situation you're dealing with overall, and especially when it comes to how much time you have to work with and how much marketing budget you can put towards something like this. If you are somebody who doesn't have as much marketing budget but has a lot more time to get out there, I would say the hustle route, really the best bang for your buck if you're going to go that way. Best bang for your buck in terms of the least number of houses, the least number of leads is going to take you to go get to your first deal and many deals after. Your highest quality list is always going to be your driving for dollars list. That list is going to be your properties that you went out there, you got in your car, driving for dollars, meaning get in your car, drive around, look for fixer-upper properties. Look for those houses that look vacant, that look like they need some help, look like that the owner just isn't wanting to keep up with it anymore or isn't able to keep up with it. It's just the number one indicator that the owner is looking to sell and has a problem that you can solve is the condition of the house. Right. And so driving for dollars, always, when we look at all the data, I mean, we've got a bunch of different ways that you can be able to build lists in DealMachine. Driving for dollars is your number one list in terms of least number of leads that you are marketing to and reaching out to get to a deal. So if you have the time to go out there and drive, highly, highly recommend it. Our most successful customers, they're doing a little bit of that. They're staying observant. They are out, anytime they're out in their market, they are having their investor cap on and looking around that way and looking for those properties at all times. Also those leads are the ones that people don't easily identify sometimes by pulling data. Like those houses may or may not show up on a list that you pulled that are
right.
tax delinquent or absentee or whatever list you're pulling. They may or may not show up on there, meaning that they're going to be the least competitive leads in your market as well, because they are kind of those hidden gems there. There's the house that just sitting on the corner and doesn't maybe appear in other lists and, could be less competitive to reach out to them and start a conversation. So those leads, again, more time, less money, go that route. Our most successful people, they're doing that, but they're also looking at list pulling, list building using data. And inside DealMachine, we're a data platform with 700 plus different data filters you can tap into. And you can go in there and say, hey, show me all the properties in this zip code that are single family. And then you can start putting in different property characteristics. If you have a very specific buy box around the exact type of property that you're looking for or that your cash buyer is looking for, you can recreate that buy box in DealMachine. And then I would think about, okay, what seller motivations could you be dealing with? What could a seller be going through that you can solve their problem and you can really help that individual and like Shaun's talking about, really be a problem solver. Come in and ask great questions and try to help that individual and bring value to them. So to that conversation. So in general, it would be on that seller motivation side. You can put in things like, hey, is it tax delinquent? Is it absentee owned? Is it an out-of-state owner? Is it a tired landlord? Is it going through probate? Is it going through foreclosure? Like there's a lot of these different filters that you can then layer on top of what you already have in DealMachine and then pull a list of leads that way. So that way you can do that in a few minutes, have a list ready to market to, but just know it's going to take more marketing to that list than it will your driving for dollars list. Do those two things together and then move into actually consistently marketing to them, consistently reaching out to them through calling, through direct mail, through these different things that we can provide you and just automate for you in DealMachine through the direct mail. All of those things will move you toward that first deal. So, Shaun, I could go on about that for hours, so I'll let you go, man.
Man, I love it, man. That was great stuff. All good stuff, man. Those are things you got to do. It's filling up the pipeline. You always hear this, the money is in the database. So the more opportunities and the more leads that you can put into your database, the better. And remember, of course, just because they don't buy today doesn't mean they're not going to buy from you tomorrow, or just because you can't buy their property or get the property under contract, should I say, today, doesn't mean that you can't get it tomorrow or 6 months from now. So having a process to consistently follow up is crucial. It's gonna be your bread and butter. So make sure from the very beginning that you're very organized at keeping your pipeline intact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a Henry follow-up question here. So for the marketing piece, he said, what would be the minimum marketing budget you would start with? I'd love to hear your thoughts there, Shaun, because yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, it depends on where you are in your life and in your career. I say if you have $0, go get started. We just did a podcast, or I did a podcast with a couple other influencers in our space, Nathan Payne and Jared Frankham, where we talked about driving for dollars. And one of the things that we talked about is, let's say you didn't have anything but your feet, bike, skateboard, it doesn't matter. If you can move and walk around, you can go and put eyes on properties. And Matt said it the best, the properties that you find when you're driving around, those are going to be the best properties because they're not always going to show up on lists. Yeah, they could, but you're looking for diamonds in the rough. You're looking for homes that are in neighborhoods that look out of place. Like every house looks a certain way, then you got this one house that kind of looks odd. Boom, there you go. Get that in your list, start marketing, start the campaign, start the process. So there's no minimum budget there's no maximum or minimum budget. It really depends on where you are, and you have to use what you have with where you are. If you're resourceless, you have to become more resourceful. I hope that makes sense for you. So yeah. I don't want any excuses. I only have $100. It doesn't matter. Go get started.
It's a great mindset to take to this too. Yeah, there are strategies, like you said, if you're on the end of that, where you're looking at trying to, save as much money as possible in the marketing, I would say things like you can, call, it's going to be, if you're using DealMachine, there's a small usage fee. So it's like a couple cents a minute, but still can be pretty darn minimal in terms of marketing costs. You can do things like inside DealMachine, like driving a list. So you could pull a list, go out there and drive it. And then you could do things like, hey, put sticky notes on the door, have a little, door hanger on there, have door knock. We see people land a bunch of deals that way. So there's in-person stuff you can do that way. That's going to be cheaper. You also get email addresses inside DealMachine too. So you've got that to be able to reach out with. So you've got quite a few things that would be low cost to no cost in terms of marketing. Right. And then as you scale up, if there's anybody on here who wants to be more passive and has a bigger budget, direct mail, you can automate that and set really, simple to very complex and more advanced marketing campaigns inside DealMachine, and then just automate that whole thing with a click of a button. And that way you can be strategic about how you're generating leads and being consistent, by sending out direct mail and having those calls come into you. So got a couple options here.
Indeed.
Dietrich asked, Shaun, did you start your own market or do some virtual wholesaling? I know you have a great kind of like virtual wholesaling operation. You've got the virtual assistants that you have that company, Shaun. Can we dig into that here for a little bit on,
sure.
What advice you have there, how to go about approaching that?
Yeah, guys, great question, Dietrich. Because some of you guys might be in a market. You say, man, I live in a town that's only 20,000 people. All right, if you're limited to 20,000 people, make sure you know your entire town from corner to corner, and you always know what's going on if you're in a small market. But if you are in a if you need to go to another market outside of your market, then going virtual is definitely the way to go. And with all the tools inside the Dealmachine to be able to drive virtually and build virtual teams, it's super doable. So my suggestion, guys, is if you're in a market where you're at least 50 to 100,000 population, even the more the better, but at least 100,000, I would say that's a good market to start in as far as your own backyard is concerned. If you don't have that, definitely utilize the tools to go outside of your market to do it virtually.
Did you, for your first one, was that in Atlanta?
It was right here. It was right here in Atlanta. Yeah,
okay.
Most of my driving for dollar deals have been right here in Atlanta. When I started going outside of my market is when I started to add team members to my team. So I would have people that would bring me deals. And then the process kind of got out of my hands and I let my assistant handle it. So right now, guys, we spoke about virtual assistants. That'll lead you right into what we're probably talking about next is I needed help. I needed help to manage everything and scale my business. I didn't have all the tools that were in place with DealMachine currently today. So there was things that I just needed help managing, my list, keeping track of everything, reaching out for me. I couldn't reach out to everyone on my own. So I actually started to hire virtual assistants to help me out. And I failed horribly. I hired, virtual assistant after virtual assistant. I would get a little bit of traction. They would disappear on me, or, something would happen. So I even got discouraged with that route, guys. So what I decided to do is create my own virtual assistant company. I created my own virtual assistant company, and I figured, hey, I can't be the only person in this space who's struggling with some of these challenges of needing assistance, being organized, even DealMachine. If you are or a person who has the budget, having someone operate the software for you on your behalf with you is a great route to go. Just like Matt mentioned earlier, there's not one way to skin a cat. If you can do multiple things to skin a cat, drive for dollars and pull the list, I'd say do that. Just as I would say, if you can handle this all by yourself, do it. But if you can do it with the help of a virtual assistant, I would say do that as well.
Yeah. What do you say? So on the virtual assistant front, I was curious there. Like, what are some of the most common SOPs? Like, what are some of the most common ways people are using virtual assistants to kind of take their business to the next level? Just because I think, and follow up to that too. Like, how do you assess that yourself? Like, what do you see the most common, most powerful ways, and then how would you get started working with one yourself as well?
Great questions, Matt. Well, right now, guys, again, virtual assistants, they kind of come a dime a dozen, so to speak. So you've got to be very careful with hiring virtual assistants and be clear on, like you say, what are you looking for? What are SOPs, which are standard operating procedures? Do you have those in place? If you don't have them in place, are you working with a company that can help you establish those? Like we can at REI World Solutions. We help you out with all those things, because most people are, they're at the beginning phases of their career. They don't know necessarily how to operate a business. They're trying to get a deal. They're trying to get deals. So we're helping you get those deals, simultaneously building a business so that you can keep the process going and have things work for you on your behalf in spite of you. So for me, for instance, for me, my wholesale business, I don't have any interactions in my wholesale deals today. I have VAs that handle the outreach for me, which is the cold calling. So what are some of the things VAs can do? They can do list gen. So say you don't know how to pull the list somehow in DealMachine. It's super easy, but say you don't know how to. VA, could you go in there? He's got Alma, my executive assistant. Her name is Hannah. So let's just call Hannah. Hannah, could you go in there, pull a list for me? I need to get it skip trace. I need to get it set for the dialer, and we need to call on that. And we need to get marketing started on that. Those are the type of tasks and things that a VA can do for you. They can analyze deals. They can help you send out agreements, get those deals actually moved to the signing, which is the goal here. We want to get a signed agreement between yourself and the seller.
I love Deidre's coming in and says, this is so doggone good. I'm gonna need help here. She said, did you train them yourself? Like how does that work for your VA company?
Great question, Deidre. If you don't go through a vetted agency, you will be responsible for the training yourself. And I did that. I would spend 2 weeks training. I'm super excited. My VA would work for me for like 2 weeks, and then they'd say, hey, we had a storm, my family died, I can't work anymore. Or they would just disappear, and they would have your data. It became, like, man, I'm giving them all my sign-ins, my logins, my information, and they've disappeared on me. That can be daunting. So, Deidre, you've got to find a company who takes care of that for you, in my opinion. You don't want to cheapen out on virtual assistants. You're going to find companies or VAs that say, hey, I do it for $5-6 an hour. This is what I want you to consider. If a VA is doing that, there's an agency most likely 9 times out of 10 that's in between that VA and you, and that agency is most likely taking 3 to 4 of those dollars. That VA is making $2 an hour. They're not incentivized to work as hard for you as they would if they were with a different type of agency that pays them differently. With our VAs, they're dedicated to one client at a time. They can't work for Matt from 9 to 5 and then work for me from 8 to whatever. They're dedicated solely to one client, You get a VA, you get a trainer, and you get a manager for the cost of one VA. So you basically have a team that helps you with all of these concerns, Deetra. Someone's going to sit down with you to figure out what are your goals and how can we best help you to match those goals.
Quick follow-up. Deetra said, what's a decent and realistic budget for something like that?
A realistic budget, I would say you want to give yourself between $700 to maybe $1,400 to $1,500 per month, because you're going to have tools that you utilize, and then you're going to have an hourly rate that you're going to pay your VA. So a budget within that range to operate a business based on the return that you can get on that is phenomenal, in my opinion.
Love it, man. This has been so good. I know I'm running long. So
it's okay, man. You got me.
I again appreciate all the questions here. Really, really good stuff, guys. Shaun, again, we'll try to link to your, you've got your book, The Adventures in Wholesaling. Let me show you how. You've got your podcast, the Nationwide Real Estate Mastery Podcast. We'll make sure to link to all that stuff. I know you help out students. You've got your virtual assistant company. You've got a lot going on, man. So we'll be able to try to include all that here too for you guys. Do it. My last question was, what do you have going on next? Like where are things going? Like, I'd love to hear kind of what the next, next little bit of time looks like for you, and what goals you have right now.
Well, Matt, I'm super excited about my virtual assistant company. This has been my baby for like the past 5 years. We've grown it to a nice size. We hadn't made it massive on purpose. We want to keep it boutique style so we can support all of our clients at a high level. But with the advent of AI, or with the introduction of AI, we now have what we call AI enhanced virtual assistants. So the next phase that we're into right now is making sure that our clients can maximize AI's technology with the help of our VAs. So that's what we're super excited about. Supporting as many people as we can out here to help them maximize AI technology.
Yeah, I mean, we're clearly a big believer here too of just using AI to be more productive in your everyday, right, and really maximize you and help you make your strengths amplified there. So excited to see what comes of that, man. But can you give people a way to connect with you if they want to connect with you directly as well?
Absolutely. Hey guys, if you want to reach me, if you want to schedule a call with me, jump on a call, guys, head on over to REI World Solutions.com. And that's our virtual assistant website. There's plenty of information on there, testimonials from clients, all that good stuff, guys. And that's the best way to reach me. Nationwide Real Estate Mastery Podcast is a podcast that I host as well that gives out actionable steps to help you get your first or next deal. But guys, reach out to me at reiworldsolutions.com, and that'll be really the main way that you need to connect with me. We don't need to put all those other links up there, but that's the main way you connect with me, and that'll get you to all my other links. And I'll be more than happy to speak with you.
Yeah, we'll drop the rest in the description here as well. But Shaun, this has been fantastic, man. Great questions, everybody. Appreciate your time today, and this was fun. So thank you.
Hey guys, one more final thing, guys. Don't wait for all the lights to be green between here and your destination, which is your goals. The minute that first light turns green, you have to go and have faith and belief that by the time you get to that next light, you'll know what to do. All right. I hope that helps you. Don't wait for all those lights to be green, or you'll never take action. Start taking action today.
So good. There we go. Have a great weekend, guys. Shaun, thanks again, man.
Thank you, Matt.